Hello, welcome back to another episode of From Prison to the Streets. I'm Eric, and I did 11 years in prison, and I talk about prison stuff. Today, we're talking about cell etiquette, how to be a good cellie. So be sure to like and subscribe. Here we go. I have arranged this in 5 parts, 5 things you can do to be a better cellie in prison, and each part has supporting ideas. So yeah, first one is to be clean. You need to be clean when you're in prison and you're living in close proximity to other people, especially when you're in a medium or max facility where you don't have AC. In Kansas, that's how it is. You're living with another person in a 12 by 8 or 12 by 9 cell. You have no AC in the summertime. Things can get pretty smelly pretty quick, so you need to make sure you get to the shower either first thing in the morning or when you're done working out, whatever. You need to get to that shower and get clean. A part of that, this is going to sound weird, but you need to scrub those pubes. And like I said, it sounds weird, but when you're sleeping on the top bunk, this is especially important if you sleep on the top bunk. If you're shedding body hair, especially from your pubic region, and that's all over your bunk, that's nasty because all of that stuff is going to fall down to the bottom bunk. When you scrub your pubes real good, it knocks them loose in the shower, and then they don't fall out in your bunk, and it doesn't end up on your bunkie's bed. Let me tell you something. If your cellie comes in and he's on the bottom bunk and he sees your pubic hair on his bed, especially if he's a clean freak, he ain't going to take too kindly to that. So you need to get in that shower and you need to scrub those pubes. And another part of that, you need to change your bedding. I mean, blankets over time, they get stinky. And especially if you're on the top bunk, anything, whether it's, your dead skin flaking off or hair or, body hair, whatever, that's going to end up on the bottom bunk. So you need to keep your bedding clean. Anytime they have a call to change out your blankets and your bedding, you need to take that opportunity and get clean bedding. It's also important for avoiding things like MRSA and scabies and stuff like that. Infections are bad in prison. You don't want that stuff. So you need to change that bedding out. Change your clothes too. I mean, man, this stuff is basic. But body odors, they will get into your clothes and you might think that you smell all right, but you don't smell okay. You need to change your clothes. That's, they do laundry call every day. You can change your blues out several times a week. You need to take every opportunity to throw your laundry in the laundry cart or however they do it at that prison and get your stuff clean. Because no one wants to smell your stinky clothes. No. Yeah, when you're in a 12 by 8 with someone, think about someone who has bad body odor and then think about being locked in a 12 by 8 cell with them for most of the day. That sucks. No one wants to do that. Yeah, change your clothes. Clean your sink. If you shave or something like that, if you're my cellie and you shave and you got your hair in the sink and you don't clean that stuff up afterwards, I'm not going to be happy about it. We're going to have some words about that. First time is probably going to be pretty respectful. Second time, a little bit less respectful. The third time, we're probably going to fight. That's just the way it is. You need to clean that sink when you're done. And this goes along with it. Wipe off the toilet. A lot of people don't realize it, but when you pee, as a guy, standing up, when you pee, you have something called splashback. Stuff comes out of that toilet and it lands on the toilet seat when you pee. So you need to wipe that thing down every time you pee. I don't want to sit down in someone else's urine. No. I'm kind of germophobic. I'm not going for that. You need to wipe that toilet down when you're done using it. And this goes along with that. Clean the cell. Some cellies work it out on a schedule. You clean this day, I'll clean the next day, whatever. But you need to clean that cell. And you can't rely on your cellie to clean the cell all the time. You have to take the initiative. If you've got some free time, you need to get that done. You need to clean the cell. And personally, if you live with me, I kind of want you to make your bed too. I don't like looking at your, tussled up blankets every day when I get up. I want my Cellie to make their bed. Not all my Cellies did that, and I didn't trip on it so much. It just looks so neat and tidy when you make your bed, especially in a military fashion with the little fold over at the top. That's beautiful, man. I guess I kind of sound weird right now. Next thing. This is the second part. Respect your Cellie's space. You guys are sharing a very small cell together, and if you're doing a lot of time, you're going to want your own space. So what you do is you coordinate your time in the cell. You have to work out a schedule with him. Let's say he works at such and such time, you work at this time. Try to get job assignments that don't line up so you guys aren't going to be in the cell at the same time constantly. That way you maximize your time alone in the cell. Your space is important in prison, especially in a little tiny cell. Another thing about, respecting your cellie space, don't touch their stuff. Don't look at their photos. Don't look in their locker. Don't move their stuff around unless you're cleaning. Don't take stuff without asking. Some of this stuff is just basic, but you would be surprised at how many people get their head split over this simple stuff. Another part of respecting their space, be quiet. You don't need to be loud all the time. When there's a football game on or a basketball game, you don't need to be yelling at the TV. Those people playing in the NBA or NFL, they can't hear you through that TV. So shut up. Sit on your bunk. Watch quietly. If you are listening to music, put your headphones on. I don't want to hear your music. Not unless it's something that I can groove to. And if it's that, we can sit and listen to it together. But 90% of the time, I don't want to hear your music. I don't want to hear your TV. I don't want to hear you. It would be best if I'm sitting on my bunk, I don't even know you're in the cell because you're being quiet. And with that, don't be yelling at the neighbors constantly. I mean, every once in a while, if you want to chat to the neighbors, that's one thing. On the other hand, if you're yelling out of the door at all hours of the day and all hours of the night, and you're interrupting my sleep and interrupting what I have going on, not cool. We're going to have words about that. Next thing, cell efficiency. This is part 3. A lot of you have probably never even heard about cell efficiency. You probably have no idea what it is. And it kind of comes with being in a small space with another human being. You have to coordinate your movements within the cell. If you have two big dudes, or they don't even have to be big dudes, just two grown men in the cell at the same time, we can't be up moving around at the same time. It's kind of it's a bad deal. If you're getting started in the morning, if you're brushing your teeth, making yourself coffee, doing whatever you do in the morning, maybe making yourself something to eat, you're moving around the cell, I'm going to sit myself on the bunk and wait till you're done moving around before I get up and move around. When you're done doing what you got going on, you're going to sit on your bunk, and then I'm going to get up and I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to make myself coffee and get myself together. We can't be up doing it at the same time, running into each other, fighting for cell space. It's not a good way to do stuff. It's frustrating. It's annoying. It's like, sit your ass down. I got stuff to do. The next thing, this is number 4. Don't bring heat on the cell. Don't bring the cops to the house. You don't know what I have going on. If we get shook down and I have something that I'm not supposed to have, and you were the cause of the shakedown, guess what? Now you're getting beat up. And no one wants to get beat up, right? For real? But yeah, don't bring unnecessary heat on the cell. Don't talk shit to the guards if it's avoidable. Don't, bring attention to the cell. Don't be smoking and not covering up the smell. Don't be, hitting K2 and bringing a whole bunch of smell in the cell, because we ain't doing that. In prison, we call it being loud. If somebody's smoking something and they're not covering it up, they're not blowing smoke out the vent or out the window or something, if they're just letting that smell linger, that's called being loud, and that brings heat on the cell. A cop does rounds, they smell that, and then you're getting shook down. And if I'm getting shook down because of something that you did, I'm not going to be happy with you. With that, we go to part 5. Don't bring a bunch of traffic into the cell or around the cell. When you got people coming to your cell all the time, either to deal and trade, I pass you a soup, coffee, whatever, or to hang out or to talk, Jeff, whatever, cops watch to see what cells have a bunch of traffic. If you're bringing a bunch of traffic to the cell, the cops think that you're up to something. They think that you're moving tobacco or moving weed or K2 or whatever, or maybe they think that you're doing tattoos, and it brings heat on the cell. They will shake you down if you have a bunch of traffic in front of the cell. So don't do that. Anyway, that concludes this short video on cell etiquette. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Eric. This has been another episode of From Prison to the Streets. I will see y'all later.